Hello, everybody.
Hello
When you
again.
said there is no enough evidence,
For me, yeah.
but at least there is evidence that this universe is created,
No,
right?
there's no good evidence for that also.
What do you mean? Science said the beginning is the Big Bang.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the universe was created.
It is created, but we do not know how it created and who created or what is the cause.
But why do you think it was created in the first place?
Because science, as far as science can reach, well,
Science
this
doesn't say
universe
that. Science says that it started expanding.
start expanding here, but before the yeah, you're right. Yeah, but in the end of the day, there is only two possibility, right? Either it's created or uh, it's always been there,
Either it was created or it was
or it always
always
been there.
there. Okay, or there was a cause or there were causes.
Yeah, that cause the that cause that's something that we call cause that is bring effect that this universe is created.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Like when you say create, you refer to a thinking being.
No, not necessary
To me, it sounds
because you
like
have
that.
hmm?
That's why, to me, it sounds like there's a huge difference between a creator and a cause.
Hmm.
Yeah, for example,
Yeah.
I can create a chair, right?
Hmm.
And I can break a chair, right?
Mhm.
So I can cause things. I can create things and I can cause things. So I can, as I said, I can break the chair, but a rock can also break a chair, right?
Hmm.
So now there are two different kind of causes here, right? Or I can
Right.
start a fire, but a thunderbolt can also start a fire. So if you say, "Oh, you created this fire and it was really terrible," okay? But when it comes to the thunderbolt, you kind of don't say it's created. It's you say it started or it's caused, right?
Yes, yes, right,
To me,
right.
it's really important because there's a big difference when non-thinking, let's say, things cause things, and when thinking beings cause things intentionally and unintentionally. There's also a difference between when we just only think about a thinking being, right? So just because I break a chair, that doesn't mean I did it intentionally, right? I can do it also. So when it comes to, you know, causes of this universe, if there is a cause or causes, maybe there are some causes like thunderbolt or like a rock or maybe something else, and we cannot assume that it's a thinking being. Maybe they don't have awareness, they don't have consciousness, but they cause a lot of things. Or maybe there is a thinking being, maybe there's a god, or maybe there are many thinking beings. They cause this universe intentionally, or maybe they cause this universe unintentionally, or maybe there's no
So
cause
which
at
one?
all. Yeah,
So which one is more for you more acceptable that this
I
this
don't.
universe has been? Oh, no, no, no. There's we personally, which one for you? It's more acceptable that this universe has always been there, like If it's always been there, meaning that the Big Bang we have to right now is not the only Big Bang, right?
Not the only Big Bang. What do you mean?
It, meaning like if the universe has this universe has always been there, meaning the Big Bang that we know is not the only or is not the last or the first Big Bang.
How did
I
you get
heard
there?
something. uh, how do I get there? Well, if it's always been there, it's then why we said there's a beginning of the expansion. When said there's a beginning of the expansion, meaning you have a reference, a time reference, right? When you have a time reference, meaning that it's not always been there.
The universe or the expansion? Yeah, you can say that the expansion was not there always. Yeah, you can say that. But you cannot say that universe was not always there.
I cannot say the universe was not always there.
Yeah,
I
because
cannot.
just because something started to expand, that doesn't mean it started existing. Like, I think you didn't watch that video. In one of my videos, I explained that. Like, imagine a balloon that there's no air in it, and
Hmm.
if we start, blowing air into it, it starts expanding, right? But that
Yeah, but
doesn't mean the balloon started existing.
the balloon is just the border, but the air inside the balloon was not there.
Okay, that's something else. But I'm talking about the balloon itself. The balloon itself also
And
like
the balloon,
expanding when you know,
I think you could think you could see the balloon as like the our observable universe,
it's
but not the content of the universe itself, not the air. In the balloon is not the air, and in our universe is not the object inside the universe. The balloon itself is just like the age, something like I don't know, not the age, but that's how
yeah.
we
But
understand it.
Blackstone, you know that like everything in the universe was in a single point. It was very dense and very hot, right?
Hmm.
So scientists they don't claim that the matter entered in the universe or in a single area. They claim that it started expanding, right?
Because the matter doesn't enter. Okay, and how about the energy?
Yeah, both.
So the matter and the energy doesn't and what didn't enter at first. At the first, I don't know.
We can
So
claim that it
that,
was always there.
mm,
And also we have the law, right?
but
Uh
yeah, we
Preservation
don't
of
have
the energy.
evidence.
You cannot, destroy
But we
or
don't have
create.
evidence for it. The
We don't
the,
have evidence
the,
for
the,
it.
the only evidence we have it has a starting point
And
and it
also,
becomes
we don't have
on the Big
evidence for
Bang.
the opposite. Also, like we don't have any evidence that the energy came from somewhere else, right?
We don't have any evidence. See, not really,
Yeah, we don't
because
have. At
even
least scientists assume that it was so dense. Everything was so dense. So we are not talking about matter. It's just energy at that time, and it's
mm,
expanding, right? And that's it. They can be
yeah,
wrong,
but
maybe. Maybe they're wrong. How? I don't know. They also don't know
how
exactly.
how the energy how the energy become more bigger or more yeah, let's say
They
I don't
don't
know what's
claim
the
that
word.
it became bigger. They claim it just
Yeah,
started expanding.
but do you think So how do we test right now to put and to put, let's say, how, what's the unit of energy? Pascal
Blackstone,
or what? I
let's
don't know.
assume that they're wrong, okay? Because I'm not here to Big
Yeah,
Bang or other things.
if yeah
Let's
if
assume
they
it's wrong, okay? Then,
well, if they are wrong, there is only one possibility,
which
and
is
you cannot, which is, I don't know, some creator, aliens or supernatural or spaghetti
no,
monster or God.
I explained you. Like maybe there is a cause which doesn't look like any god, and maybe it's just
Y-
something or many things which doesn't have intelligence. So is it still
Yes.
God to you?
Well, yeah, I understand maybe, but we don't we don't come up with conclusion by maybe. We come up by evidence, like that something, let's say,
That's what
that
I wait
some.
from your side because you have a conclusion that the explanation is one God created this universe. So what about you? What's your explanation? I mean, evidence.
Well, I go with the intelligent designer. For me, it's kind of difficult to to imagine if the scientists were wrong, then what is the other? Well, some people call it God, some people call it Pegasus, some people call it Zeus, some people call it monster,
No,
whatever. It
Blackstone.
doesn't
Some
matter.
people call it rock. Some people call it water. I mean, it can be anything. We just you don't know it.
Rocks,
When I
rocks,
say
the
rock,
living rock.
I don't mean literally rock. I'm
Well,
just telling you that the cause of the universe can be something else, not God, not godlike.
so what is that something that is not alive to cause that hot, dense energy and matter expand? It needs something that is alive, something
Alive?
intellectual, something intelligent.
You cannot assume that. How can you say that it must be intelligent?
Because logically, I don't know, logically, it's difficult to draw conclusion that something that is not intellect, something that's not intelligence, cause something that produce us, that we have intelligence, we have life,
Hmm.
we have, I don't know.
We have death, we have destruction, we have many other,
Yes,
unwanted things also. So to me, like I don't see a very clear cut pattern in this universe. And when it
well,
comes to causes, um, we should have more richer imagination. What if there is endless number of causes of this universe? Just endless. And imagine none of them have intelligence and they interact each other like the, atoms in this
understood.
universe and they're not
Well,
aware. But when there
mm,
is endless number of options, combinations, maybe it causes a lot of universes and we're just in this one.
I don't know. For me, it's kind of difficult to say something that is not intelligent produce something that is so intelligent, like
Okay.
Einstein, like Newton.
Okay. Let's go with many gods, Blackstone, because you said you're a Christian. What if the cause of this universe is 25 intelligent being?
Again, what is the cause of
What if
universe
the
to what?
cause of this universe is 25 intelligent being?
Yeah, of course. Like the pantheons of gods, the Greek gods, the
Or
Egyptian gods, all the religion they believe in polytheism.
yeah, but those gods are not in this universe. Imagine such a cause.
They, but that's how we compare the claims. What is this claim of the Amun Ra? What is the claim of Jupiter? What is the claim of
Adam
Zeus? What is
Blackstone, because they're so into this universe. They're in the universe a lot. I'm giving you another option here. 25 intelligent beings out of this universe. They just created this universe, and that's all.
Okay, what is those 25 deities claims beside claiming that, oh, we
They don't have
25
claim.
deities,
They don't care much about us, so we don't know what they claim exactly.
so we cannot, there's no way to verify his primary claim that he or they 25 create the universe.
Yeah,
There's
but
no
yeah, it's
other
the
way to
same
ask.
for one God. Also, we don't have any way to verify that there is only one creator. See, there's no
My
big
connection
difference
between.
between the claim that there are 25 gods and one God, or three gods, whatever.
Well, if these 25 pantheons got only claim, oh, we create the universe. That's it.
Yeah, we
It's not.
created the universe and
It's,
everything inside the universe. Okay.
so okay, so how do you very how then we?
How do
I
you
mean,
verify one God?
by the claims, by how many claims he made, and can
Claims
we
are
test
not
the claim?
evidence, right? Can you test the God?
Well, that is where the practical aspect come. Historical claim,
Yeah, but they're not all
uh,
true. We know that, right?
like what
Like, don't you think that there are false historical information?
in the Bible,
No, I'm not. I'm speaking in general.
of course, but I'm
Yeah.
representing the Bible right now.
Okay. Can you prove that all the Bible is completely true?
And the absence of evidence doesn't mean the claim it's negative. Doesn't mean the claim is incorrect.
I'm not claiming that
But
it's
there are many.
incorrect, but you're the one who is presenting evidence, and you're saying that it's Bible. And how to verify the Bible? The Bible has a lot of claims. God exists, for example, right? This is one of the claim, right? So how can we test
Yes,
this claim?
by his another claim. What is this God claim? He claimed he appoint king in the Judah, in the Israel, in the Egypt. Can we verify this claim by archaeology? Can we verify this claim by I don't know, paleontology? What's the word? Paleontology or something
Things
like that.
happen in history, right? A lot of things happen. Just because you verify something happened, that doesn't mean you exactly know who did it. So first you have to prove God exists, then you have to prove that that God did those things. Even if a God exists, that doesn't mean he did all those things in the Bible.
Yeah, but at least 50%, let's say, of his claims about the sites, about the place, about the river, about the lakes is proven correct.
Yeah, there are lakes, rivers, and people can easily mention about those places, right? So you think that only God can mention the locations of something? So you think humans cannot mention
Well,
places?
of course they able to mention, but that's
So
why I'm,
how to
I'm looking
know
for I'm
a God
looking for
exists
the
and God said it?
that's why I'm looking for the claim from the Zeus and from the Amun Ra and from Tutankhamun and from the Marduk. From those polytheist gods, I'm waiting for the claims about their knowledge about historical site, historical places, historical figure. I'm waiting for that.
Blackstone,
So far,
do you think humans cannot claim about location of, you know, things?
I agree with you,
Okay, so
but
if we
we,
can
we're
already do
comparing
that, how can you believe that? Wait, the information came from a god.
because the author of this book, uh,
You believe that it's
let's
God.
say let's say let's say let's say let's say what's the most I'm looking for the most I don't know. I'm looking for the Marvel figure or like fictional figure that contain a lot of real place. Like I don't know, Harry Potter doesn't contain the place in the UK or in the British. Superman mentioned Metropolis. He doesn't mention any other city in the. I'm looking for the. Help me out.
Yeah,
Of course,
you can speak
of,
about
of,
some Marvel movies. Yeah, they mention about real places also, right?
of course,
And by the way,
human.
you're bringing a good example argument for me. So just because they mention about real places, that doesn't mean those characters are real.
Yeah, but this author doesn't claim doesn't that author those authors of the book uh, doesn't give like I don't know. It's only make
Just because an author
let's say
says
the
that this
tiniest
is
little bit.
real, it means it's real.
Hmm?
Just because an author says that this is real,
Well,
then it means it's real? No, right? So why we should care about the claims of the author?
at least we could accept. Okay, this book talk about history. Okay,
Like other
whatever
books.
the emperor. Yeah, yeah, like the Emperor Ming, Emperor Xiao, the Chinese made a historical book. Okay, right. So the king of the Judah and the emperor of Xiao in Chinese, both are historical book and both have their own gods, Shangdi and Elohim. Now let's compare Shangdi and Elohim. What is the other? What is the other evidence that Elohim and Shangdi gave
Blackstone,
beside
but
archaeology?
that's not a good way. Like now you are trying to debunk other religions. That doesn't prove
That's
you're
what
God, okay?
I'm not trying to debunk. I
Yeah,
mean,
you are. Now you're talking about
uh,
other religions, right?
we have
Other gods.
debunk. That's how we compare.
No, we don't have to
So far
compare. Like you have a claim
we
a god exists, and you don't need other bad religions because you think that they're bad at something.
okay.
They have weak evidence for you, so then there's no need to talk about it because I don't need weak evidence, right? I also see what you see, so we can
Mm,
save some time, right?
okay.
So
And if that claim that he destroyed the whole world by the water and the mud. So what if this God, if this claim is true, what would we expect? What can we what evidence that we would expect? We
the
expect fossils.
logical thing is to assume that yeah, people witnessed those things and they wrote those things or they mentioned those things.
They'll mention those things,
Yeah, and
yes,
that
but
doesn't prove a god exists, right? We can, for example, a volcano erupted in Italy, and people observed that. People can write about this. People can make songs about it, right? And after 1,000 years, if you learn these stories and if you say, "Oh yeah, this place exists," and that doesn't mean Zeus did it, right?
okay. Now we okay. Now it's becoming more theological. Okay, so the only way to bring evidence about supernatural, well, you need the supernatural evidence, right? Extraordinary evidence for the extraordinary deity, right? This is where all the religions was about prophecies,
Yeah,
predictions, prophecies.
like the other religions, but you somehow don't care
What
about other religions
what
when it comes to
prophecy?
prophecies, right?
What prophecies of Jesus
Muslims also have prophecies, right?
from Muhammad, not from Allah?
But they claim that the information comes from God, right?
From Muhammad, not from Allah, because the prophecy I found in the Hadith, not in the Quran.
Okay, but Muslims believe that it's also word of God. Muhammad is just a
No,
messenger.
the Hadith is not the word of God. The Hadith is the what the Prophet said. It's not what Allah said.
Yeah, but Muslims believe that he cannot say something out of his, let's say, mind.
Well, if it's the word of God, it should be in the Quran, not only in the Hadith.
Yeah, but like it's another way of having information. So just because God sent a book, that doesn't mean he will stop talking to person, right?
The Quran, Allah makes a clear statement: we give you no signs. And then His Prophet said, "No, Allah, you are wrong. You give me signs." Do you see the issue here? Okay. My God said, I give Blackstone, I give you no miracles, I give you no prophecies, but I send you Blackstone as a messenger. But me right now, Blackstone, respond to Allah, to my God. Oh my God, no, you're wrong. I have miracles. I have prophecy. Do you see the issue?
Oh, so you're saying that Hadith and Quran is contradicting.
It seems like contradiction.
Okay, okay. So you believe that Islam doesn't have prophecies.
Is what Islam is Islam is not Islam. The claim from this God, he doesn't send messenger to bring prophecies
You're talking about Islam right now?
because you're asking me about Islam. Yeah,
Okay, so it was my bad. I'm just, admit, yeah, it was a mistake. So let's go back to your religion. So you believe that there are prophecies and these are supernatural things, therefore God exists.
beside other biblical timeline and other. Yeah, yeah. So far, yeah, that's the sole unique what distinct religion and science. Yes, prophecies.
Mhm.
Well,
So is there any prophecy for very near future?
for very new feature from the Bible, yes, Israel will be the enemy of the world, including I don't know some interpretation, some according
Hmm.
to the prophecies, according including U.S. U.S. will fight against Israel, and the Jewish people will gather up as a nation. It's done in 48.
Okay, so you
After
think that
after
this is a
1,000 years,
prophecy?
after 1,000 years, nobody could think that Jews will gather up as a nation.
Okay. So if I say that, let's suppose someone joined here and he said mindful will be the enemy of all people in this platform. Do you think that this is a supernatural claim? And if it happens,
Well, if it happens,
when
yes,
it
I will
happens,
believe that.
why not? Well, what if like the person paid
After
me
the,
a lot of money to go around and like, making, evil things to earn a lot of enemies? I get my
hmm?
money and voila, you believe that that's like a miracle.
Well, if it becomes true, yeah, there's a high probability that the claims about you is from a supernatural spokesperson.
I think you didn't hear me. So is it all? It's also possible that someone can pay me, to earn enemies. If the money is good, I can just,
When you talk when you talk about possible, everything is possible, but what is the probability of that possibility? The probability
yeah,
is very well. If
God,
that's true, become
yeah,
if that's
supernatural.
become true,
Yeah, you have to prove that supernatural is possible. Then you can take it as a probability when you're talking about events happening here on Earth. But so far, we don't have really good evidence to prove that supernatural exists. And then that's why we should avoid when we assume, hey, what can be the explanation? Because, like, it's not a good candidate explanation, right?
why we should avoid
As I said, we don't have very good evidence for it.
after. What do you mean? We don't have to definition. 2,000 years, nobody could ever think the Jewish will come in quote alive again.
Oh, people, some other countries can, support them to, be powerful. And
Not
also,
based on prediction. It's
what?
just based on yeah. Some
No, to
country put
fulfill
together.
some prophecies, they can, manipulate the history. Why not?
Yes.
So, and in this
Just like what?
conspiracy, God is
Like
not
what?
included, right?
No, no. I don't. I'm not aware any other prophecy that talk about maybe Indonesia will be destroyed and then will come back after 2,000 years, or maybe Aztec will come back after 2,000 years. I'm not aware that kind of prophecy about ethnic group of people.
And in that prophecy, it's giving the time.
Hmm?
Is it giving the time? Because, you know, Jewish people were always in the center of, those topics, way back in time, right? So they
Right.
took Israel and, and they had fight with other nations a lot, right? And that place changed a lot of owners. And when people were looking at those times, they can assume that, okay, they will come back again because they did it before, so they will come back again, and they did bad things before to, and people really got annoyed about this, and it will happen again. So it can be such an assumption also, and then there's no need to think that it's something supernatural.
Why? I mean, uh, I don't know if there's a I don't know what kind of book like Legend of Five Gods or Five Sons in the Aztec that said, "Oh, the Aztec people, you will come back again. I will gather you up from north, from east, from southwest." And suddenly,
That's
2025, the
again
Aztec
just
come
because
back.
other nations or religions don't have such an example, that doesn't mean your example is true.
It is. There is our criteria, prophecies. What is the prophecies of the Aztecs God about the Aztecs people?
As I said, like, if they failed or if they don't have prophecies, that doesn't make your prophecies
It
divine.
means, wait a second, we already agree that the whole religions, at least for me, is about prophecies. If those religion of Aztec doesn't have prophecies, so it's so where's this God? This God has no knowledge about the future, about his own people.
Blackstone, you're doing the same mistake again. You're trying to debunk other religions. If you
I am
debunk one
maybe
religion, doesn't make your religion true.
the criteria is this God is all knowing. If he's all knowing, he could see the unseen.
Okay,
And
did
in our time, he could see the future. Okay,
okay. Mm-hmm.
there are 1,000 God claim he's God. There are 1,000 God claim he could see the unseen. Okay, let's
Mm-hmm.
check what he sees about the unseen, about the future. Let's check one
Mm-hmm.
by one the claims. What is the claim of the God of the Aztecs about the Aztec people? When God of the Aztecs see the unseen, predict the future about the Aztec people. Or let's check another second God. Do it or until the thousand God. That's how me personally, yeah, and debunk. Let's say debunk. That's the only way. I mean, this
No,
thousand
it's a
God
bad
cannot.
way. Again, if you
Well,
debunk other religions, it doesn't prove your religion is true.
well, it cannot be those 1,000 gods correct, right? There's only those all those 1,000 God are wrong, or one of them is true. That's the only
All
possibility. That's the
can
only
all
logical.
can be false also.
And or there's only one of the 1,000.
Yeah, there can be a one, but again, that doesn't mean your one is the correct one.
Well, by evidence about seeing the unseen.
Again, predictions. doesn't mean they're divine. Like people can predict things, okay? And
Hmm.
as I said, like those people were always famous in the history in that region, okay? And it was very hot
Only in that
place.
region?
I mean, the things
How
were
about
so hot,
how
and
about the Vikings?
yeah, about fighting, they were always fighting in that region, right? People may wish such things, right, at that time, and yeah, they can create this culture, and they can strive for doing that thing, and voila. And again, that doesn't mean it's divine. People can be motivated by their religions, and they can do a lot of stuff, right?
You said
And being the enemy of the planet is also, you know, something that we can do, humans can do. It's not supernatural.
you said those people, in this case the Jews, they are famous. I said no, not only them. The Pharaoh are the famous. The Babylon are famous. The god of the Babylon, Marduk.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what? Oh, I think your connection.
Hmm.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe you were not
Yeah,
speaking.
hello. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so not only the Jews, not the only famous group at that area. The Egypt are famous. The Pers, the Greek, how famous are the Greek? And how about the Jews? Prediction about his own people, the chosen people of the Greek. Did the Zeus see the unseen?
I don't know, but
Well,
again,
I
that
read
doesn't
some.
mean Jesus saw the unseen.
Well, that's the. I don't know. For me, a religion is about prophecy, right? Science also do prophecy. I agree with that. Predictions,
Okay,
of
so
course.
if I claim that Edward will join this table,
1 hour from now, in 1 hour plus
yeah,
5 minutes.
yeah, 1 hour, let's say 2 hours, okay. So that means if it happens, that means I'm divine, or I have supernatural abilities.
No,
Okay,
because
then why you think that your example is supernatural?
at that time where the prophecy were sent down, nobody could ever think about it.
How do you know
But
that?
if
Like,
you,
can you
hmm?
test that they cannot do that?
Because the biggest symbol, the biggest society, the biggest group of that people were destroyed by Nero in 70 AD.
Who
If
was
the
destroyed?
biggest civilization were destroyed, it's kind of very low probability that this civilization will gather up again in the 1 decade or 2 decade.
And that means no one
And
could predict this.
well, so far I don't see anyone. I don't see Zeus. I don't see Marduk. I don't see Amundra.
Again, like
I don't see.
Blackstone, you don't see others. That doesn't mean yours is divine. Yours is God. So we are speaking about people conquering other lands and having enemies. Okay, this is possible. When
Hmm,
someone predicts such a thing, that doesn't mean the person who predicted is a divine being.
hmm. Well, the Babylon collapsed, and nobody speak Babylonian again. The Persian, the Sumerian collapsed, and nobody speaks Sumerian again. The Aztecs collapsed. Nobody speak Aztec again.
So what?
What else? What else? The Pharaoh collapsed, and nobody read hieroglyph again. No, no society
Okay.
read hieroglyph again. And what else? Like Anglo-Saxon or the Old English, the Viking collapse, and nobody speak the I don't know Old Anglo-Saxon again, or maybe I'm wrong. But the Jews
Okay.
collapse, but it revive again, and the language exists again.
Okay.
I don't see
So,
any other. I don't see other. I don't see any other big civilization claimed by his their own gods. Okay, you will be collapsed and you will be revived again. I will collect you again and you will
mhm.
be alive again. I don't see any other civilization. Only the Jews.
Okay, but that doesn't mean it's divine again. Just because they collapse and they
It
came
is
back,
divine.
that doesn't mean like this is supernatural.
It is supernatural because he's this God. He see the unseen. He predicts the future.
No, you believe a God exists, and then you believe that God predicted future. But we are trying to prove the existence of God. And when you're doing that, you cannot
Yeah,
start
but
with
right now
God
our
did it because you
but
didn't prove the God, and that's the thing that you're trying to prove, and it's circular reasoning.
But right, I think you forget like 10 minutes or 15 minutes ago, we already reached. We already agree right now. Our conversation is okay. Let's say the science wrong. Okay,
Hmm.
if the science wrong, it means there's a creator. That's how we come up with this conversation.
No, I mean we said okay, let's accept that it's not something. I said it. Let's assume that there is a creator, but that doesn't mean there's only one creator. So that's how we started, right?
That's why I need claims from those other thousand creators, from the
Okay, just
Marduk to
because there are
Saudi to
many creators, that doesn't mean they will claim it. And just because you don't see,
so this
do you
okay. It
remember
means
1 hour ago you said that absence of evidence is not evidence for the absence of those things. So if like there's
in
no
the sense of science,
evidence,
yes.
if there's no claim, okay, about
in,
25
in,
gods,
in,
that doesn't
in
mean
the
there are no 25 gods, right?
in the context of science, yes, but we're not talking about science right now. We're talking about the all-knowing God. This
All knowing
all-knowing God
God.
has ignorancy about future, about his own people in the future.
Mm, okay, so Blackstone, then let's think logically. If there is an all knowing God, do you think that it's a good way to prove things? I mean, by showing them, hey, I can see the future. Why not more specific examples? We don't see such examples, right? So, as I said, people can assume that, okay, these people will come back, okay? And a human can do it also. So that means we cannot know if
We
God
don't have
did it
evidence.
or a human did it. The evidence is humans can predict the future, right? We have evidence
Well,
for that.
okay, it means
But
that
we don't claim
this
that the person has divine knowledge, right? Or we don't
it is
claim that the
divine
person
knowledge.
knows everything. And
That what
Bible
that
doesn't know everything also, because to be able to claim that a book knows everything, then you have to find every information in the book. But
no,
it's a
he
limited book,
doesn't.
right?
He doesn't. No, he doesn't need to give 1 million's claim about the future.
How
At
many
least he give one.
claim
At least he give me. He give me one
one?
compared to Marco, compared to Saudi,
Forget
compared
about
to
them,
Zeus.
Blackstone. That's a logical mistake. Come on, why you don't stop? Like you're always doing that. Like I don't care about other religions right now. Like you're a Christian. We're talking about this God and your religion, right? So if they're false, that doesn't mean your God is true. That's simple. We don't need
Well,
them.
it cannot be the 1,000 religion we have today. Cannot be all of them correct. It should be
They are
either one of
false. That doesn't mean yours is true.
yes, but the prophecy
Then,
become
if
true.
yes, Blackstone, if yes, then please don't mention those religions again. Okay?
Well, you asking me to prove my God is true or not? Well,
Yes,
the only way to do
it's not
the on-
a good way, it's a terrible way to do that. Just because they're false, that doesn't mean yours is true. Very simple logic,
The
Blackstone.
prophecy become true.
Okay, when it
The-
comes to the prophecies, just because there are some predictions about future, that doesn't mean those predictions came from a god.
It is came from the God
How do you
because
know
he saw
that?
something. It talks something that is not unseen. He sees something that is unseen.
Predictions about they're about the things that we don't see. Like we predict the future, right? We don't see it and we assume that. For example, you don't see the future, right? And if I can claim about the future, it's unseen to us right now. For example, if I say that from now on, after 5 years, aliens will visit this planet and it will be so clear to
If that
everyone.
become true, I will took you as my deity. I will took you as my
That's
God.
how you create a. That's how you think illogically. Just because I predicted such a thing, that doesn't mean I got it from a god, or that doesn't mean I am a god. I can create a lot of predictions right now, and if some came true or will come true, that doesn't tell anything. I can easily say, hey, I just randomly told those things, and it was a coincidence. You don't have to
Yeah,
think that
no
I'm a
problem.
god, right? And it's the same for any other
How
claims
many
also.
how many numbers to be considered as coincidence? How
Uh
many prediction to be considered as to be still considered as a coincidence? How
yeah,
many?
yeah.
One, two.
I don't know. I didn't think about that. But when it comes to prophecies, it's not all about coincidences. I also mentioned that people can fulfill the prophecies. That doesn't mean like the person in the past predicted the future, right?
Well, the Saudi doesn't fulfill, the Marduk doesn't fulfill, the Zeus doesn't fulfill.
Blackstone, like this doesn't sound good. Okay, I'm tired of repeating the same thing. Just because those religions are false, that doesn't mean your religion is true. I'm really tired of repeating the same statement.
But we already did we agree that those 1,000, there's only three answers. The first answer is all the religion is false. The second answer is one of them is true.
No, that's a logical mistake. Just rest of them are false. That doesn't mean yours is true.
I'm not saying just because the rest are false. I'm saying my claim is correct and the other claim is
What
wrong. I'm not
claim? Well, what claim?
the prophecy that one nation destroy after 2,000 years being
Oh,
revived
so
again.
are you really sure that all those religions they don't have any correct predictions about the
I don't see
future?
any.
You don't see
So far,
any?
I didn't see. I
Oh,
read some
what if you
homers,
don't
some
want to
healings.
see?
I, I, I don't know.
Muslims
I read some.
have Blackstone, like what? So you really know good about Islam. They have, for example, one prophecy that they say that like they will race about building the tallest building. So they have this prophecy, and they say, "Hey, look, this proves Muhammad's, is a prophet, right? He has
Well,
divine knowledge."
okay. The worst case of that prophecy mean Muhammad is God, but God said no,
No, it
Muhammad
doesn't
will
mean
not.
that he is a god. That's
But his God said no, you don't have miracles. But
Oh,
let's
wait,
say,
wait. Like you're saying, like you don't believe in Quran, right? So you don't
hmm,
have any right to use the Quran as a reference of your
no, I'm
argument.
exposing their belief
So
is correct. I'm sorry, I'm
no,
exposing their belief is
God,
incorrect.
God of Muslims is not true for you, right?
Yes, and
So then
I'm
starting
exposing.
a sentence with God said in the Quran, blah
No, no, no,
blah,
no.
it's not
No,
helping your case.
no, no. Just a second. I give you illustration, okay? Let's say my son believe Harry Potter, okay? My son believe in Harry Potter, and I want to prove my son you are wrong, okay? Even J.K. Rowling said Harry Potter is a fiction, but you, my son, you want to believe Harry Potter. That's what I'm doing with the Muslims.
No, you're not. Like you're not doing it in a correct way. Here's the thing: you can find some Muslims I don't know, maybe you cannot find. But let's assume that a Muslim says that, hey, like Blackstone, Quran is not completely true. Like people changed it a little bit, okay? And for example, there's a verse says that, oh, like I will not give you any miracle. So someone can claim that that verse is additional. They added it later on. That's why it seems like a contradiction for you right now.
No,
But
I'm not.
Muhammad talked to God after the Quran also. He got a lot of information. And those prophecies are proving that Muhammad got divine information.
But he contradicts J.K. Rowling. My son contradicts J.K. Rowling.
What do you mean your son contradicts?
My son believes in Harry Potter, and I tell to my son, no, my son. Even J.K. Rowling says Harry Potter is a fiction. If my
I'm
son
sorry,
said
I'm not.
Harry Potter
I'm
is
not
a,
like I'm black, sir. I'm
I'm
very
giving you the
tired. For
analogy.
a long, I don't understand your analogy. Go with the real
Okay,
example.
I will repeat again.
No, no,
I
no.
will
Don't
repeat
repeat
again.
the analogy. Please mention on the real things. I mean, at least our topic.
Well, I'm trying.
So Muslims believe in God, right?
I think
And that doesn't
yes,
mean God doesn't exist, right? Because you believe in God also,
ye-
but you believe
again,
that their God is false.
yes.
Okay, and then you cannot put it into Harry Potter category because we know that Harry Potter is fictional, but their God, I'm agnostic about that. So maybe they believe in the right God, and maybe you believe in the false God. So
If they believe
that's
in
why
the
it's
right
not a good
God,
analogy.
if they believe in the right God, the Quran should not contradict the Hadith.
As I explained that it can contradict because people may change the Quran, and then you can find contradictions.
We don't have evidence for that. We
You don't
cannot
have evidence for
make it.
that, so you believe that Quran is perfectly protected?
Okay, well, no problem. I could
No
go with that. I
problem.
like Quran to.
Really?
No, I have no problem. Quran to be preserved 100%. I have no problem at
But
all.
we have evidence that it wasn't. So in that case, that gives us the opinion that yeah, people changed that.
With meaning, this author of Quran cannot give the correct Quran because it's
No, that
corrupt.
doesn't mean
The one
no,
who
no, 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 Blackstone. That doesn't mean. That only means people later on changed that information. That's all.
yeah, meaning the author of the Quran cannot be true, right?
No, it doesn't mean
Because
just because I write you a message and then someone changes my message, that doesn't mean I don't
we're not
exist. That
God,
doesn't mean I'm not
star.
right.
You are not God. You and I are not God. We're talking about
That's
God
also
who
an
protects His
analogy,
book.
Blackstone. Just because someone changed someone else's message, that doesn't mean that someone doesn't exist.
You're comparing we and God. I mean,
It's an analogy,
just
Blackstone. It's not a comparison. Like you're saying
yeah, but
that
your
this message
analogy.
is broken, therefore there's no author.
But we are talking about God, star.
Yeah,
Even
now I'm talking Blackstone. Right now,
do you remember?
Blackstone. Now I'm talking about the God. Just because God's message is broken, that doesn't mean God doesn't exist, right?
Then what kind of God is that? What kind of God
A
which message is
God,
broken?
okay, a God who doesn't care that much about his message.
He's
He
not.
cares, but not like the way that you wish.
Well, he cannot protect his message.
That
I mean,
doesn't mean he cannot protect.
this is a corrupt God.
No,
If he corrupt, how could I
that
trust
doesn't
this
mean
corrupt God?
that doesn't mean he cannot protect.
Did he corrupted? In me, he's corrupted God. I
No,
corrupt his book. I corrupt his
you
message.
corrupt the message, that's all. That doesn't mean God is corrupted.
Listen, he's not all powerful. He's not a good librarian. He's not a good
He
author.
can be
Even
all
though
powerful, and just because someone changes his message, that doesn't mean he's a bad author.
it is a bad author. I mean, he's the worst librarian.
It doesn't mean that means people are, change the message.
Like
That's all.
Star, psychologically, let's say seventh grade junior school. Even the most stupid student in the class, if you corrupt his note, he will get angry. This is the most stupid person in the class compared to God. What kind of God is not being angry? His message is corrupt.
So where this knowledge comes from? Like if like someone spoils the message of God, God must be angry. Like, is there any rule?
He is. Hmm?
So you're saying, like, you're giving a rule here without any justification. You're saying that if someone corrupts the message of God, God must be angry. And
Will
I
he be
don't see where
corrupting?
this rule comes from.
Because even the most dumb student in the class, he's not God, but he get angry when he's
So,
noticed
Blackstone,
corruption.
5 minutes ago, you warned me not to compare humans and gods. And now you're
No, no, no,
comparing.
no, no. I'm not comparing the ability. No, no, I'm not comparing the ability to protect, to preserve, or to cannot preserve. I'm not protecting the. I'm not analogy. I'm not making an analogy about the ability. I'm making the analogy about the psychological state.
It
God is an
doesn't matter.
intellectual.
Like, you cannot assume that God has similar psychological
So
state.
he has the most. He's was dumb than the dumbest student in the class.
That's
He has the most dumb psychological state, mental state,
why do you think so?
because the dumbest student in the class, he get angry psychologically if I corrupt his book.
But that doesn't mean like God will get angry.
So he's cognitively disordered or something like in I don't know what's the word. He's more dumbest than the dumbest student in the class
That sounds so weird.
psychologically.
Blackstone, like I think like you don't want to understand, right?
I
So
am
if a God exists, if someone damages the message of God, that doesn't mean God will get angry. That doesn't mean even God,
okay. Wait,
can
wait,
get
wait.
angry. Okay, that
This
doesn't mean being angry is a property of that God. Okay, so where the hell you are getting this information?
wait. Start. I will skip this conversation because I don't know. For me, it's become funny. I don't know. Let's just find
Yes,
another.
it's
So
so
let's keep
funny,
this
yeah, Blackstone,
conversation.
because like you're able to imagine all powerful gods. You're good at it because you believe in one of them, right? So if someone is all powerful, then why he should get angry of the humanlings that he created and what they're doing? Okay, like he doesn't have to be so angry, right?
Okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to continue because okay, let's we just going in loop.
It's not a loop. Like you think that
It is.
if there's a god, he must protect his message, and that's a rule, and you don't have any justification. That's why you started
Yeah, I don't
laughing.
know. When I see this God compared to
It was you
Mister
who
Other,
compared.
ah,
You started comparing God.
the psychology, the mental state of this God is
Again, that
more
doesn't mean
dumber.
God. Like you were saying that if God does something and allows people to spoil it, that means he's dumb.
But this God, meaning this this God lost his integrity, lost his credibility, lost his mental
No,
state.
it doesn't
What
mean
kind of God?
that doesn't mean.
It,
I think
for me,
you're trying to discredit this thing by just attacking like that. This is literally ad hominem Blackstone. Okay,
it's not
so
that.
hey
What do you mean
God,
at
you are
home?
stupid because you let those people change your book. You are dumb. You are
Because I have
stupid,
a
God.
good,
Okay, so that's what you're doing, and it
I
doesn't
have
make any
because
sense. Okay.
I have a good evidence that even the most stupid student in the class, he get angry
That
psychologically.
doesn't
He get
mean
angry.
God behaves like humans, Blackstone. Is
So
there
he
any
behaves like what?
rule?
Octopus?
Is
So he behaves
there
like octopus?
is there any rule or evidence that says God is like humans?
He is intellectual. He is integrity. So he behave like what? Octopus? Or like a what?
Like God, maybe.
Yeah, what guy which is
That doesn't mean
intellectual,
like
which is
humans,
a good,
right?
with a good psychological state.
Blackstone,
His
there's
psychology.
no any evidence that God behaves like humans or in the exact way, right? So
So
maybe yeah, God
he has
has
a
a lot of
different
similar
mental state.
properties, but that doesn't mean God will act exactly like how humans does. Even humans, right? We humans can react differently based on the actions, even the same action, people can react in a different way. So
Wait,
you don't know
I need water.
you don't know if a God
I need
exists
water.
or not, and you don't know if how God would react to us. You don't know that. You're assuming that if God does it, then he's dumb, and that's your personal opinion. There's no any evidence in what you're saying.
He permitted people to manipulate. Uh, Julie, Julie Snow. Oh, not Julie, Invincible. I thought he's asking a question.
I don't know.
But Julie, and Julie asked a question, why should God act like a student? I think I already answered it. It's not about being act like a student. It's about a mental state of God, which is more intellectual, has more integrity.
Mm-hmm. And all knowing and all powerful, that means it's hard to assume why God does such a thing. If God does such a thing, that doesn't mean he's dumb. Maybe he's dumb, maybe you're right. But if he's doing such a thing, then you cannot say that, oh, this is a dumb thing to do. But the one who's
What do you
doing that
mean?
is not a
You just said
human. If
maybe
it was
he's
a
dumb.
human, maybe,
Well,
yeah, as I said, yeah, maybe he's dumb, but we're not talking about humans here. Like you're saying that if it was a human, it would be a dumb action. Again, that doesn't mean that it's a dumb action if it was a
I
god.
don't understand the logic. You said maybe he's dumb, okay? And later you said, but it doesn't mean he's dumb. I
Exactly.
really don't get it.
Yeah, I explained to you. I said if you believe that God is all powerful or the most powerful or all knowing or the most knowing, that means it's hard for you to know why he is acting like that. So then you cannot
No, it's not hard
assume
for me.
or criticize his actions. Maybe he has reasons to do that.
No, we could make a demonstration, okay? Let's say I wrote a book, a single book that is so
You're a
important
human.
for me,
You're a
that
human.
is which is well, God has more mental state than me,
Okay,
has more
and
intellectual
God
state.
has more power than you. God has more purposes than you. God has more and more and more anything, right? So that's why you cannot
But
reason the way that we reason in this planet on this planet, right? So we
no, we
have
could.
purposes and we don't have much power. So we protect or we tend to protect the things that we created, okay? But if God has unlimited sources, then he doesn't have to care the way we care about the things that we have, right?
No, this is the
No?
most important book of God.
That's
This,
your assumption. Maybe it's not the most important
this,
book for
this is
God.
believer. No, it's not my assumption. This is according to believers the most
Forget
important
about the
book for the God.
believers. Like just because
We
it's
are
the
talking
most
about the
important,
book
we're talking about the
we,
God. We're not talking about the
from
believers
the
right now.
believer's
Blackstone, you're
perspective.
changing the subject of the topic. We're not talking about the
No, I'm
believers.
not.
We're talking about the God. Okay, so just because
From the
many
believer's
people
perspective.
again, and we don't need that because we're talking about God's essence, God's properties, right? We don't need believers. Just because believers have a belief about God, that doesn't mean it's the case, right? Maybe
What
the
even
book is not the most important book for that God. Okay,
it is.
it
You
is.
could ask to the
It doesn't have
Muslim.
to
You could ask
be.
to.
It doesn't have to be Blackstone.
What do you mean?
I
You could.
mean, like if I write a book, people cannot decide in behalf of me, right? People may think that it's the most important book, but for
It
me, it
said.
doesn't have to be
It
the most
said.
important book, right?
This God said my book is preserved. Okay.
God said what?
So my book is preserved.
Oh,
All
as I
God said
said,
so.
that's why we started arguing about this. Maybe God didn't say such a thing.
Well, but the discussion starts because we are talking about the Quran being corrupted. Okay.
Okay. And if the book was corrupted, as I claim, right? Maybe someone put a sentence in this book as, I will preserve the book.
Huh?
Yeah?
Oh, I don't know. For me, it's kind of difficult if God just if we do something about his property and he just be silent. So it's like have like a mental apathic, not apathism. He doesn't care. So what? So what does God care?
Well, I don't know if there is a God, what he cares more.
So
I
he
don't know.
doesn't
You
care.
don't also know. That doesn't mean he doesn't care. You just don't know it, Blackstone. Like, if there's
So
a God, if
okay,
God doesn't
let's
talk to you
okay.
in person, Blackstone, you shouldn't assume the purpose of the
Okay,
God, okay?
okay. Let's okay. The conclusion: this God doesn't care his property being damaged or not. His God doesn't
Okay.
care whether to need to bring evidence or not. His God doesn't care about morality or not. So what is the evidence of this God?
Uh,
Nothing. Zero.
okay, so what?
Meaning this God is zero, doesn't exist.
Yeah, you cannot derive evidence from the Quran now, okay? So people use other things as an evidence, like, for
Yes.
example, like you, prophecies. That's why we started
Mm.
having this conversation, right? So now we
Okay.
eliminated the Quran. Now we have Hadith, and they have prophecies which are fulfilled. But you don't think that it's true, or you don't think that that means it's divine, it's supernatural. So, and that's a contradiction,
It
at
is
least for your
contradiction.
case, because you
Yes.
think that prophecies are a good tool to believe that there are supernatural things or there is a God.
Yeah. I don't see any other
Okay, then
good criteria.
that should make you a Muslim too, because they also have fulfilled prophecies.
Yeah, but it contradicts with the Quran.
Again, like, we don't care about the Quran, we just eliminated the
They
Quran, if you
care about the
remember.
Quran.
Again, we
If you're
don't.
speaking in behalf of
We
Muslim, you should don't misquoting the Muslim, right?
No,
You
no,
I think
no.
you
I'm not talking about Muslims. We're talking about Hadith and the prophecies. Okay, so
yeah.
they're not depending on the believers right now. I'm not talking about the believers. I'm talking about what happened. Okay, so there are prophecies and they're fulfilled. That's all. So it's the same for your
Okay.
story. You're saying that in
Okay.
my book
Meaning
there are prophecies that they're fulfilled. No difference at all.
okay, okay, okay. Meaning the conclusion, but by deductive conclusion, okay, Bible is correct. Hadith is also correct by
Okay.
deductive conclusion,
So that,
right?
yeah, yes,
Okay.
sure, Muhammad is a messenger of God. That's also true, right? According to this logic,
Which God?
like the God of Muhammad.
This God speak in Hadith, but we cannot say this God speak in Quran because we already rule
We
out the
eliminate,
Quran,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. We're not talking about the Quran, right? So
Okay,
you
so
think
this
like
God
Hadith
is
is not talking about God?
it is talking about
Yeah.
God.
So what's the
Which God?
problem then? They
The
call
problem
it
is which
Allah,
God?
right?
Okay, and this
Okay.
Allah speak in the Hadith.
Yeah, it speaks in the Hadith. Yeah.
Okay,
True Muhammad.
okay, the conclusion is uh,
The conclusion
Hadith is
is
correct, Bible, but
the
Hadith is
conclusion
correct,
is
and the
prophecies are
Bible.
not good evidence to prove a
Yeah,
God
yeah, yeah,
exists.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to draw a conclusion here. The Hadith is correct, and the Bible is correct. That is the deductive conclusion, deductive reasoning, right? Now, okay,
Think it's
to make another conclusion, it cannot be both are correct,
it
right?
cannot be
Because
correct. Okay.
it contradicts. It's
So
either
you mean,
all of them.
okay? So, like, that's the thing that I'm talking about, right? So like, you guys have the same thing. Like, we were talking about prophecies. They have prophecies which are fulfilled. You have prophecies which are fulfilled. Okay, so how to understand like which religion is false? You said one of them must be true, right?
Or both of them are wrong.
But yeah, that's the thing that I said. Just because one of them is false, that doesn't mean the other one is true. Maybe both
No,
of them are wrong.
no, because we already agree Bible is correct and Hadith is also correct.
Uh,
At least at least
no,
That point. Eh?
I didn't agree about that. You just agreed.
And yeah, let's say by deductive reasoning, right? Okay, Quran is wrong, Hadith is true, Bible is true. So
Okay.
deductive conclusion, the Bible is true and the Hadith is also true.
Okay.
Okay, but it contradicts. It
What?
contradicts another claim and another like I don't know some kind of postulate or whatever because these two books contradict each other. It cannot came from one God, one same God. It should be
And
came from different gods.
I'm just repeating myself. Yeah, that's the thing, Blackstone. As an atheist, how can I understand if the Bible is from God or Hadith is from God? Because only thing that we spoke so far is prophecies, and both of them have prophecies. As an atheist, I don't know
Hmm.
how to choose.
Well, I just remember one thing. In fact, just yesterday we were talking. I don't know what which table. I was talking with the an ex Shia. We're talking about this. He's an architect. So
Architect.
that's why I brought this hadith that you gave to me yesterday.
And
I thought to him, okay, you're an architect, okay. So why don't you believe the hadith, the prophecies? What is the prophecies? The tall buildings. Um, but later it turns out it's not talk about when you talk about tall, okay, tall buildings. There are at least two issues. Okay, the race of the tall buildings has been there since the Tower of Babel, according from the Abrahamic perspective. Okay, from the Tower of Babel to the Pyramid of the Pharaoh, to the Wall of Jericho, to the Temple of Solomon. Okay, so when Muhammad make this prophecy, it's not something that never been done before.
that's what I told you in the first place. So you think that Jewish people never got
It is.
Israel?
I told you the case. I told you the case about the Aztecs. Aztecs collapsed,
Oh
never
my
exist
God,
again.
Blackstone, forget about Aztecs, okay? So I like when I present you something, you're rejecting, but now you're bringing the same exact argument. You're saying that they did it in the past, right? So,
They're
so
not
what?
collapsed. What do you mean? As a nation, they're not really collapsed. They are still there.
You're talking about
But
who?
when the prophecy, the Jewish, when the prophecy been given to the Jewish that they will gather up, this prophecy came in the time. It's 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 let's say impossible to fulfill this prophecy because so it had been 2,000 years. Okay, this actually had not been fulfilled. 2,000 years.
Again, that's not relevant Blackstone. So people have the ability to be, to conquer their places, or they can lose a place. And we know about these
And
stories
then
about
gather up
Jewish people. Yeah, they can gather up. Why
after two
not?
thousand years of non-existence.
Uh, Again, just because the others didn't do that or couldn't do that, or once one nation can do it, that doesn't mean it's divine, right? So if, like, no one ever before went to the moon, let's say, well, you don't believe in that probably, but anyway, let's assume that. If the first nation goes, that doesn't mean that first nation is divine, right? So
It,
people can do a lot of things.
only
Just
if
because someone does it for the
except
first time, that doesn't mean that thing or that nation is
except
supported by God, right?
except there's an agency said, oh, you you are my people and one of you will go to the moon, except there's agents talk about this prophecy 1,000 years before and it become fulfilled by Neil Armstrong, let's say, the god of Neil Armstrong, the god of the Americans, let's say. Okay, Americans, you exist in the 1492. And 500 years from now, one of you will come to the moon. Except that claim happen. Of course, I don't believe. But if that claim happens, I will believe that Neil Armstrong is the prophet and the God of Neil Armstrong who said this prophecy 500 years ago in the year 1492 make such a claim. I will believe Neil Armstrong is a prophet.
Um, those people are not the only people like exist in the history that's long time, right? Arabs
Then
also
definition
exist
again.
that long, like many other nations. They're really old, right? So if
And
they
fight
do
again.
something, okay, in thousands of years for the first time, that's not a good evidence to say that okay, this
When you
is
said
proving the supernatural.
when you said those are not the only people, well, those the only people that collapsed after 2000 years and revive again. I don't see in the Aztecs, I don't see in the Sumerian, I don't see in the hieroglyph of
Blackstone,
Firaun.
I'm done. I told you many times that just because other people cannot do something, that doesn't prove your case, okay? And I'm very tired about repeating the same thing again. I clearly told you, like, you don't have to talk about other people, but
I'm not talking
you
about.
you are very you aren't talking about Aztecs, Mayans,
Because
Egyptians,
we're
and
trying to.
no, and it's a logical mistake again. And how many times I should repeat the same thing?
We are trying to figure out these
You're
one
not.
thousand God.
You're
Which
not.
one?
We don't need
Whether these.
them. We don't need them just
But,
because they
but the
couldn't do
discussion
something
start.
that's not proving your case.
I don't know how it doesn't prove my case. Anyway, yeah, I need to take.
Clearly,
Yeah, by the way, nice 15 minutes or 30 minutes talking. Is this recorded?
yeah, this one, I hope.
Oh man. Yeah, but anyway, thanks for the. I will be
Okay,
back again because I need to clean something. Okay.
uh, I won't be back, Blackstone. I will be away. I don't know when exactly, but
Yeah,
I
you have
have to
Mustafa.
go.
Mustafa, maybe To and Mustafa could talk. By the way, thank you, Star, for
Thanks,
the
thanks,
time.
Blackstone. Okay, take care.